Hi, my name is Sherry Strachan, the director at the Musée Heritage Museum.
And I'm Sharon Moore, and I'm the program manager, and we're part of the Arts and Heritage Foundation of St. Albert.
And I think today we're going to talk about the history of St. Albert in a unique way. We're going to use the Founders Walk as our guide because it tells so many different stories.
I think really that's the greatest thing about St. Albert and programming out of this community is that we can touch all parts of Canadian history, from mission, pre-contact, Métis river lots, agriculture. This community has a lot to share. Right, so this valley that we're in, that we now call St. Albert, is thousands of years old. We know through research that people have been coming here for at least 10,000 years, gathering, hunting, having meetings, marriages, and buffalo hunting with the Métis. The Métis were very prolific in buffalo hunting and used it as an economic drive for them. The Métis here would plant gardens and then go on summer buffalo hunts, sometimes gone for 3 months, come back with their meats that they've dried and everything and have their vegetables ready to go for the winter. It was a very productive place.
So in 1861, the mission was established here in St. Albert on the hill above the river. And the mission was brought here because many of the Catholic Métis had requested a priest be here. And so it was established by Bishop Taché. That building still stands, the Father Lacombe Chapel, so you can come and see that. And then there's the beautiful parish church, the history of 3 wonderful bells, and hidden behind all of that is the grotto, the cemetery, and a community garden for you to have a look at.
So there's a really special space along the river that's called the Healing Garden. It's part of Founders Walk. And the Healing Garden was created to commemorate and acknowledge the students and the survivors of the 2 residential schools that were here in St. Albert. This was a community project that we built together, and it's a place to come and reflect, but also to learn about the history of this community.
So standing here on top of Mission Hill and looking out over the valley, you can see many things. One of the most important things about this hill is that you can see the history of education, which is an important part of our community's history. The Little White School is here. It was built in 1947, 1948. The building's down at the bottom of the hill. That's the first high school building. There's also the Father Jan School. And then we've also commemorated with a cairn the first school that was built here in St. Albert. It was called the Father Murray School. It was a 3-story brick building, and it was established and built in 1909 and then torn down in the 1960s. And the interesting thing about this building, it's one of the only buildings on the hill that doesn't look south, it looks east from the front. So as you walk down St. Vital Avenue, it's a reminder of the Lac St. Anne Trail. And you stop along this on the Founders Walk and you see the sign for the Mission District, this area, and how it became a residential area. But we also see the sign for the Hudson Bay Post. There was a small Hudson Bay Post here in St. Albert, and it was run by a man named Louis Chastelain.
So River Lot 24 is a Métis river lot. It houses 2 houses that were very important to some of the families that were here. We're also honoring Dr. Ann Anderson with a commemorative garden, and we'd like to share her story with you as well.
So continuing down along St. Vital Avenue, which again is the Lac St. Anne Trail, you go towards the river and you're walking along historic river lot spaces. And those river lot spaces, some of them were 60, 80 feet wide, but up to 2 miles long. So you're walking on historic areas that were used for farming often. And getting down to the river, you see the Trestle Bridge, indicating the growth in St. Albert in the early 1900s. And in 1906, the first Brackman Kerr grain elevator was built here in St. Albert, demonstrating the growth of farming in our community throughout that period. So now that we've whet your appetite, I invite you to go to our website, museeheritage.ca, to learn more about the unique history of St. Albert.
Or better yet, come and visit us on River Lot 24, right across the road from the St. Albert Grain Elevator Park.